subhanahu wa ta'ala, not to anyone else except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To seek in help only from Allah and only from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now that is exclusive to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? So, so now it is put into or in the way of a verb now. It's a verb, meaning time. Okay, time is part of it. A verb again is a word that has a specific meaning, but part is part of the time is a part of the meaning. Okay, so that could change, right? You could be doing something now, or you did something before. You'll do something in the future. So if you're doing something in the future, that is mean you're not doing it now. And you did something in the past, you did it, but you're not doing it now. And then, in the present tense, okay, present tense indicates now and the future as well, right? You are doing something. You're not doing it this second, and you will not do it the next second. You constantly say, I'm doing this. You are constantly doing it, so it's indicating the future as well. So, إِيَّاكَ, it is you and only you, نَعْبُدُ. نَعْبُدُ al-ibadah, that we worship you, Ya Allah. And al-ibadah is misunderstood by many to be rituals. Okay, but the ibadah is not rituals. It is ritual plus. Okay, so this hamd to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the admiration and appreciation should continue all the time, permanently with us. It's a noun, right? Timeless. It is with us all the time. And that is part of the ibadah, part of worshiping Allah and Allah alone. So you are constantly saying that, Ya Allah, I recognize you're doing everything for me, so I am doing everything in your way, Ya Allah. And this is the essence of Tawheed. It is not one way, it is two ways. Because everybody recognizes Tawheed in one way. One way meaning the way of receiving. What we're receiving is only from Allah. And that is recognized by the very fitrah that we have. The heart that we have, we recognize that what we're receiving from Allah and only from Allah. Shaitan believes that. Shaitan knows that. Shaitan admits that. Shaitan does not mind to answer these questions. Who's the creator? He'll say Allah. Who's the provider? Allah. Who's the sustainer of the universe? Allah. Who's the owner of the day of judgment? Allah. So long that the question about what Allah does, Shaitan recognizes Tawheed that way. But he does not recognize Tawheed by submitting to the command of Allah. So now he has to respond to Allah and only to Allah, and he does not do that, and he didn't do that. So he recognized Tawheed al-Rububiyyah but does not recognize Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah. Okay, to say that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. Okay, the part of the Surah Al-Fatiha up to Maliki Yawmiddin, it's a recognition about what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does and what the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah mentioned means. But now we are saying, since we are recognizing this, Ya Allah, therefore we're going to exert an effort all the time, exert efforts all the time in your way, Ya Allah, by worshiping you, Ya Allah, all the time and seeking help from you all the time. Okay, so the ibadah is ibadah, an action from the slave to the master, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, constantly. Okay, so we know Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, as he would be sitting with the companions, and they would record what he was saying in the remembrance of Allah verbally, like making istighfar, 100 times. Okay? That is ibadah, constant ibadah. And that ibadah could be with the tongue and could be with the heart. With the heart meaning that you could be busy, your limbs and your mouth is busy. You're talking, you're working, you're doing something, you're making a living, you're raising a child, you attend to spouse and so forth. During all of these actions, the heart could still be connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? And the only one who knows this, knows that if your heart is connected to Allah or not, is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The angels does not know how much your heart is connected to Allah so they can record it. Shaitan does not know how much your heart is connected to Allah so cannot spoil it. Okay, so that is a special relationship. A special relationship that you remember Allah with your heart as you are busy doing things. So you are constantly in ibadah. That is getting close to Allah. Okay? That is when you catch yourself not remembering Allah, that is the remembrance of Allah. Okay? When you catch yourself not remembering Allah, that is the remembrance of Allah. Meaning that you cannot help to get busy here and there. Like Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told the companions, an hour like this and an hour like that. Because they were scared, Ya Rasulullah, when we are with you, we are almost could see hellfire and paradise. Our awareness of the unseen is so sensitive, it's so heightened. Okay? But when we leave you, Ya Rasulullah, we go to our children, we go to our wives, and we're busy, and we feel guilty. Okay? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not reprimand them in that, but instead told them an hour like this, an hour like that. He even told them that if you are in a heightened recognition of Jannah and hellfire and close to Allah in such ways all the time, the angels will touch you in the streets, meaning you'll be among the angels like rim. If you meaning that the angels can you recognize almost the see the unseen. Okay, and that is you're not like that. You cannot be like that. It is impossible so an hour like this, an hour like that. But we are stating that we are trying to do that. We make a statement now, Ya Allah, we make it all the time, every time we read Al-Fatiha in the prayer and outside of the prayer, that it's only you, Ya Allah, that we worship. Okay? So in order for us to know the worship, we know what is it not to worship Allah or to worship something else beside Allah. Okay? We need to know the negation of ibadah. We need to know what shirk is. Okay? And shirk, basically, if there is something belongs to Allah and only to Allah, and you make it totally or partially belonging to someone else, to something else, that is shirk. Or taking something that does not belong to Allah, meaning an attribute that does not belong to Allah, and you make it belonging to Allah, that is shirk. Okay? So when we say, when we slaughter, this is in the way of Allah. Okay? When we swear only by Allah. Right? When we do any kind of a charity, we should not have intention for anything except is for Allah and Allah alone. Okay? Those who give up on receiving the rahmah of Allah, they are kuffar. The one becomes a kafir. Why? Because once you give up and say the mercy of Allah is not touching me, you are taking away in your belief an attribute belongs to Allah away from Allah in your belief. You're saying that Allah is not merciful. Okay? So only those who gives up in the mercy of Allah only are the kafir. Okay? So everything that we do, okay, it is in the way of Allah. Somehow when you say, what is my intention? Why am I doing what I'm doing? Okay, why I'm doing what I'm doing? And if the answer, because once you say why, that is talking about intention. When somebody comes to you and say, why are you doing this? Your answer has to be with your intention. You're doing this for such and such and such. So if we ask ourselves why we're doing what we're doing, okay, and the answer, we answer ourselves, and the answer does not have the word of Allah in it, then we need to change our intention. Because now this is not in the way of Allah, and every action that we do should be in the way of Allah and Allah alone. Okay? So the love that we have in our heart, in a special place in our heart, belongs to Allah and Allah alone. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam encouraged us to express love to others. Telling one companion when he said that I love so and so, did you tell him? No, tell him that you love him the way of Allah. Okay, so what is this love? That means it is not the love of Allah, it is shirk? No. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does not deny us that love. But it is not the kind of love that belongs to Allah and Allah alone. Okay? The intensity of love. Okay? And how do we express this love? Verbally, right? Meaning that we know how to express it in action, right? You're doing, and your heart is connected to Allah. The limbs are working. Okay, you are taking the means with the limbs, and the heart is connected to Allah. So the result, when you get it, you're not going to belong it to the limbs, or you're going to make it belong to Allah, right? So that's. But verbally, do we say, "Oh Allah, I love you, ana uhibbuka ya Allah"? Is this something that it's strange in our ears, right? Okay, but how do you express it verbally? Okay, verbally we say raditu billahi rabba, right? The rida is the expression of love. To be pleased with Allah. Okay, I am pleased with Allah as a deity that I'm worshiping, right? So this rida is the expression, in verbally is the expression of love. Okay, so that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses, this word, radiyallahu anhum wa radu an. That is the ultimate love. That is the peak of the relationship of love. That Allah is pleased with them and they are pleased with Him. Okay? But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can use the word hubb, love, in a way of hubb, with that word, in something else that Allah tried to get you to love. Right? Okay, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا تَقَرَّبَ إِلَيَّ عَبْدٌ بِشَيْءٍ أَحَبَّ إِلَيَّ مِمَّا افْتَرَضْتُهُ عَلَيْهِ. My slave does not come to me with anything more beloved to me than what I made obligation or obligatory on him. Right? So now Allah tell you what He loves. Okay? What He loves. That means that what Allah made obligation on us. Okay? Then you need to go and love that as well. Then do what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves. That will get you into the love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and closer and closer. So إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ, ibadah that consumes everything that we do. everything that we feel, everything that we say. Our mind and heart is connected with Allah, should be connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala constantly. Okay? When Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said that there will be those coming the day of judgment with jibal, like jibal of Tuhama, white and bright and huge, and Allah will not accept it from them. Will not accept it from them. Will be pushed back at them. That, Ya Rasulullah, who are they? But then Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, they are like you, they have, not like you, they take from the night like what you take, meaning they worship at night, okay? And the act of worship, the ritual, they take from the ritual, like your ritual, like their ritual is like yours, right? The companions, right? Meaning the way it looks on the surface is beautiful, is intense. That's the ritual, right? But why all of this is not good, accepted from them? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, because when they are alone, they do not mind and they commit haram. See, so what does that indicate? Indicate that the heart and the mind is not connected to Allah, right? It is connected to Allah, so to speak, with the actions that is seen by others, right? So it is a work on the external work, okay? But now their internal work is diseased. So when they are alone, they do not mind committing haram. Okay? They do not realize that Allah is watching them, could see them. They do not, remember that Allah is Maliki Yawmiddin. Okay? So, Iyaka na'budu. Okay? It's exclusive to you, Ya Allah, our ibadah. Okay? And ibadah is from abd, right? And abd is from ibadah. Slavery is from worship, and worship is from slavery. Okay? Iyaka na'budu. Okay? So that is an expression of our we are being slave to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, this ibadah. Okay? Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, in the highest of positions, Allah called him abd. Allah did not call them Rasul or Nabi at the time of Isra, coming up to see and to meet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. To meet, it's a better word. Okay, in a place where no angel is allowed. Subhanalladhi asra bi'abdihi. Okay, praises and to Allah, the one who took his slave up, Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Did not say Subhanalladhi asra bi rasulihi or bi nabiyihi, ولكن قال بعبده. Okay, that is the highest. So when we say إياك نعبد, okay, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes Ibadur Rahman, okay, Ibadur Rahman, the slave of the most merciful, and give us now the description of the slaves of the most merciful. So we are saying, Ya Allah, we are trying to exert an effort to be in the highest level of a humanity, a human being, by worshiping you and you alone. Okay? That's why a slave of Allah is afraid to engage in anything that has any kind of a touch or a smell or a look from far away with shirk. Okay? وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينَ, and also we seek help from you and only you, Ya Allah. Okay? Because if we say we worship you, only you, Ya Allah, but we in our heart think that harm or benefit will come from a different direction than you, Ya Allah, then that is shirk. Then we do not really worship you, Ya Allah. So إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ is always what is with إِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينَ. And إِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ is always with إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ. Okay? So, al-isti'anah, okay, seeking help. Seeking help. Yes, you can seek help from others, but how do you seek help from others? Okay? Okay, how do you ask somebody to do something for you, to get something done because you're not capable of doing it, right? This is what adult human being is. Recognizes that he cannot exist on his own, he exists with others. They have more or qualities different than his, ability different than his. Therefore, he can serve them with the ability that he has, and they will serve, he serves them with the ability he has, and they will serve him with the ability that they have. That's a recognition, and that is being an adult, being that you work together, okay? That is, it's not a negation of إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ. It's not a negation of إِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ, okay? It's recognition that we're working together in the way of Allah. That's, okay. So when somebody needs help and seeks help in something that they are not capable of doing, and you are denying him that and you can help them, that is, you're not now worshiping Allah. You're not now doing the work of Allah. Remember, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's attributes, Allah gives us His attributes with a limitation of our humanity, that we are human beings and we carry the attributes of Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one who helps us in everything that we do and gives us the ability to help others with that which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us in a way of abilities and habits and so forth. And Allah will send to us those who are in need of our abilities. So we are going to be tested now. Are we going to help them or not? Are we going to use what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us in the way of Allah? So إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. We seek help from you, Allah, together. Together. We seek help only from you, Ya Allah. Okay? But we don't know how are we going to do this now. Okay? How are we going to worship you, Ya Allah? How are we going to seek help from you, Ya Allah? Then we need help from you, Ya Allah. And we want to be on that path that you take us into. Because now we, so far in the surah, we submit and surrender, and we say we are incapable of being guided by ourselves. Okay? We as a human being having qualities that we need help. Okay? We cannot be self-sufficient just independently like that. Right? Okay. Those who do not believe in existence of God, as they say, right? Atheists. Okay. What are they doing really? They are saying that they are independent from the Creator. Okay? There is no Creator to them. We are independent. Okay? Another word, they are so childish and so suffocating their own soul that they do not even recognize anymore that which a nafs that Allah created recognize. Okay? Okay? And thinks that they are independent. You have to feel really sorry for them that reach that level of suffocation. And then they make fun of a believer and say, you believe in some angels and this and that. You believe some existence of something here and there will help you, and try, okay? They don't know how sophisticated this is. They don't know how high level, okay, of sensitivity and holding on to that great guidance that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. Okay, they are so low that they do not see what we carry to be something that is important. And they are so blind that they see themselves that is above everybody else, because they know that they depend and believe in science, right? Like, you know, if I cannot see it, I cannot touch it, this doesn't exist. And if I do something, I want to do something, I can do it. I'll take the means and it will happen. And guess what? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says when someone believes in that, when a group of people, when a nation believes that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will increase him in that belief. So every time they'll do something, it will work. It will work for them. Okay? And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take them. Will take them suddenly when they are feeling they are capable over this life, right? They are capable over this dunya. They are in control, and when they reach that peak of superiority, the perception of it, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, now we're going to take them. Now the ultimate of kufr, they're going to be in it. So the ultimate of punishment, they will be in it. Okay? So إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. Now we want to know how to do, to go there, Ya Allah. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. Guide us now to the straight path. Okay? Now, guidance is, we talk about guidance a lot, right? Because that it is part of our belief that we need to exert an effort to be in guidance. Because somebody says everything Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does and nothing will happen except by the permission of Allah. By the command of Allah and so forth. So therefore, I will not be guided until Allah guides me. So I'm not guided because Allah did not guide me. I'm going to wait for the guidance of Allah. When it comes, then I am guided. Jazakallah khairan. No, it is it is the guidance. Okay, the guidance to the path and the guidance in the path. Okay, and there are other guidance. There is a guidance into Jannah as well. Okay, so this is hidayah ila al-tariq or hidayah fi al-tariq. Okay, hidayat al-i'ana. We are seeking the hidayah of i'ana. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا. Right? So we asking for the hidayah of isti'ana. Right? We are on the path now, Ya Allah. So far in Surah Al-Fatiha, we're saying we are on the path now. Okay? Okay? You guide us to the path. You say, this is the path we should go. We say, with Allah, we recognize you doing everything for us. And we seek help from you and we worship you and only you. Okay? So we are on the path that you told us to get on. Now, help us in it. Okay? What is this path that the Sirat al-Mustaqim is like? Okay? So we're saying, Allah, guide us now. We are on, our feet hit this path now. We are on it. Now show us how to go. But now we recognize that this path, okay, could be misunderstood by different other paths. Okay? There are those who took that path. They said we are guided. They said, نحن أحباء الله. Okay? نحن أبناء الله. وأحباء, that we are the children of Allah and we are the beloved one to Allah. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, then why does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala punish you with your sins? Okay? No, it is not a blood relation, it is not just a choice like that. No, it's a work that has to be done. So there are those who were guided to the path, okay, but still did not hold on to the path. Okay, they were guided. It was very clear to them, but they did not hold on to it. Okay, but not only that, but they adjusted it and manipulated it, and they say now this is the straight path. They made alteration to the path of Allah. That is al-maghdub alayhim. That is. And when we say al-maghdub alayhim, how is this translated in the Quran that you have, Brother Ibrahim? غير المغضوب عليهم. ما شاء الله. Welcome back. عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome back. Okay, we'll hug later. Okay. Okay. So المغضوب عليهم, how is it translated?
المغضوب عليهم the way of those who, not of those who earned your anger.
Okay.
Of those who went
Okay.
astray for
Okay, you earned your anger. Okay, but is it like that? المغضوب عليهم. Okay, not الذي غضب الله عليهم. Right? If we say غضب الله عليهم, there will be this. But المغضوب عليهم. المغضوب, it's a noun that is the doer of the noun is unknown. Is unknown, right? When we say فتح الباب, فتح الباب, the door was opened, but we don't know. Okay. So الباب المفتوح, right? الباب المفتوح, the door that is open. Okay. So المغضوب عليهم. So meaning that as if there is a ghadab, there is an anger there, okay, that's waiting to go or is going to fall on somebody, but they are deserving this anger. But this is there. It is there already, okay? So you have anger that's existing, okay, wrath that's existing, okay, and there are those who are coming into this wrath because of what they have done. Okay? So now they are not just not being guided, refusing guidance, but they are an obstacles in the guidance. Okay? So there is a difference between you calling somebody to Islam and this person is resisting and says, just leave me alone, or saying, leave me alone and I'm not going to leave you alone. That's a whole different story. Shaitan is like that. Shayateen al-ins are like that. Okay? Shaitan is not obedience and does not want to leave anybody alone. Okay? So, there were those who the matter became very clear to them. Okay? And they held on to the path, but then they altered it, they changed it, and they changed their relationship with Allah. Okay? And part of that is very important, is not to لا إفراط ولا تفريط. Okay? There is no going over the boundaries or not even getting in the boundaries. Right? There is some not in the boundaries at all, outside of it. Okay, we're not like that. We are in the boundary. Okay? And neither those who push the boundaries and go over it the other way. No, we are in the middle. Like the Jews, when they were given the guidance, they started adjusting on it. Okay? By the name of, or by the feeling of, we're going to be better than this. We're going to do more than this. Okay? You're going to adjust to something better than what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you. Right? Like, if a urine goes into touches clothes, what do? You wash it. Right? It's najasa, you wash it. No, we're not going to wash it. We're going to get something and cut this piece that it's better than washing it. To completely get rid of it. Why would you do that? A woman that has the period, okay, we're not going to even sit with her, and we're going to designate a place that she will go there and cannot eat, with us. And you understand? This is, Allah says, do not eat from this and do not eat from that. Okay, we're not going to eat from this, and maybe from this and this too also. Okay, to be, Why do you argue? Okay, you take the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and take it as it is. Okay? Because if you have that mindset, you can have that mindset as well in disobedience. You understand? Because it is a mindset. So how do you take it? This is the same mindset in the disobedient. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you do not eat pork and do not raise pork, meaning pigs, in a land, in your land. Okay? So actually some did this, okay, and doing this. They say, okay, so do not raise pork in the land of, that we are on. So we're going to import, concrete and stuff, land from other places. And we're going to make it here. So the actual land, we got a different land, put it on our land. So when we get the pig and put it in this land, it's not in our land, but in somebody else's land. Okay? That mindset is sickness. Okay? This is the maghdub alayhim. وَلَا الضَّالِّينَ, not those who are dallin. Okay? Dal here, there is a difference between someone who is lost and he's trying to find the path, or someone who is lost and you show him the path and he refuses it. This is the one that Allah is talking about here. It's the one who is lost and you tell him, here is the path. And he goes, no, I don't think so. And walks away from it and finds some other path. Okay, that is dallin. Okay, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes, okay, al-akhsarina a'mala, those who are the true losers, okay, that الذين ضل سعيهم في الحياة الدنيا, their sa'i in this life ضل. This dalal is not a dalal that you were looking for a path and they could not find it. No, they were guided to the path, but they said, no, we have some other way. Okay? وهم يظنون أنهم هم يحسبون أنهم يحسنون صنعا. يظنون يحسبون, yes.
يحسنون صنعا.
Yeah, يحسنون صنعا. So they are what? They are thinking that they are doing what? Doing the best. See, because at the ayat like that, you think that they would have a case at the Day of Judgment, right? In the Day of Judgment, what would they say? They say, oh Allah, why are you taking it to hellfire? We did the best. يحسنون صنعا. Ihsan, the highest level of action. Okay? And we thought that this is the best, and we worked hard in it. Okay? And really, you cannot punish such a person. If he's looking and made a judgment, and his judgment was not accurate, but that is the best he knows, and he did the best work, so why would you punish him? Okay? That's all he knows. So this dalal is not like that. Is dalal that somebody came to them and told them, no, that is not the path, this is this. And they refused and they insisted on the path that they have chosen. Now this is the akhsarina a'mala. Okay? So now the categories are clear. The categories of those who are muttaqun, those who are seeking this guidance, okay, and those who are inside the anger and the wrath of Allah, and those who are insisting to stay away from the guidance, okay. These are the three categories that eventually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Surah Al-Baqarah will say, ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ, and then tell us what the kafirin is, what are, and who are the munafiqeen. That's eventually what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us. And then within Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will talk about, it will take these bullets that it gives us at the beginning with small explanation and go in details, okay, of each category, okay, and in Surah Al-Baqarah, okay, that is the surah that is shaitan when it's recited in a household runs away, cannot exist in a place where Surah Al-Baqarah is recited. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the knowledge that is beneficial. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to do the work of the knowledge that we got, okay, and help us to insist on holding to it and guide us to the path and in the path until we take the path into Jannah. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Please, if you'd like to make any comments, inshallah. Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead. The Maliki Yawmiddin, I thought that is Allah Ta'ala is, I understood it as like Allah Ta'ala is warning us. On the day of judgment there will be, and if you're not doing right thing, there will be punishment also. Ar-Rahman Rahim is his mercy,
Yes.
Maliki Yawmiddin is his punishment. I thought like that. I don't know.
But Maliki Yawmiddin also kind of Rahmah will stay there. Yeah. Because Ar-Rahim, that is, as Ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu said, Ar-Rahman in this life for everybody, and Ar-Rahim is for those in the hereafter. Yes, yeah.
So you can go
Yes.
both ways.
Tfaddal.
I was going to say that I think among the Muslims too, like we like Sufism, like extreme form of Sufism. Like they invent some kind of worship that is not recommended, that is not prescribed, but they think that, like so they're also Dhalin, right? In that way.
Well, if we say the word Sufism, we cannot put them all in the same category.
Yeah, the ones that are extreme.
Yeah, because because that word is new to Islam. That was not mentioned at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam at all, right? That word did not exist at the time of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, was not used, right? So when it's used after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what do you mean by that? Okay, there are those that are considered Sufis that are following the Sunnah, and they are on the path of the Sunnah. Okay, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about tazkiyatun nafs, right? The purification of the soul. Okay, there are some scholars who are concentrating on this. Okay, and wrote books about this and so forth. For example, Madarij al-Salikin, okay, and Manazil al-Sa'irin. Manazil al-Sa'irin, Imam al-Harawi, okay, considered a Sufi. Okay, Madarij al-Salikin is by Ibn al-Qayyim, rahimahumullah, right? He is not a Sufi, okay, but he is the best that talks about Tazkiyat nafs. Okay, he is the top of Tazkiyat nafs in the books and so forth, right? And
He's the best Sufi.
he's the what?
Best Sufi.
Best. Okay, but Madarij al-Salikin is an explanation of Manazil al-Sa'irin. Okay, so when he gets to something that a question mark on what the Sheikh said, okay, of Manazil al-Sa'irin, he said, the Sheikh means this, and if the Sheikh means this and that, it is okay. If he means something different than this is not okay. You understand? And he assumed that what he said, okay, then it goes into the right, falls into right place, because Manazil al-Sa'irin is like clues. It's not very in depth. Okay, so a person can take it and go. And the point being is, like Imam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah. Okay, you cannot get anybody who is more in the Sunnah than Imam Taymiyyah, right? He puts the Sufis in two categories. Okay, a category is that he clearly says that skips what they said that is off the Sunnah, because he said what they're doing, what they said that does not fit the Sunnah, okay, and takes you really in a way of, could take you in a way of kufr, is they do not mean it, because I see what they're doing has nothing to do with that. So it is a word that it came out, or it was written, but it is not meant, they did not mean it like that. So he gave them excuse for that, because what they're doing is according to the Sunnah. But then goes to the one that say things and then do things that's not according to the Sunnah, and he goes after them and really, talk about them and so forth. Okay, but I understand what you're saying. Yes, there is a limit, and there is a Sunnah, and we need to be careful staying on that path of the Sunnah. Yes, another word. There are those who saying, just you say La ilaha illallah and you enter Jannah, which is a true hadith. But there is a lot of things that goes into this, right? So they do not get the amal inside of this. Okay, they say the saying is enough, and the amal is not. It's not a big deal. Okay, and there are some who says that if you skip a little bit here and there, you're a kafir. Okay, that's an extreme as well. Okay, so the extreme that makes everybody kuffar, it is very clear, and people shy away from it. But the extreme, it says that La ilaha illallah is just enough and take you to Jannah, and take the amal away from it. They are sometimes, or most of the time, are what people like, because it is kind and it is love and so forth. Yeah. Okay. Akhwana Siddiq, I am sorry. I am very sorry. We're taking too long. تفضل.
I'll try to be brief.
Okay.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Alhamdulillah, today we completed Surah Al-Fatiha, and we had done the 4 ayahs before up to Malik Yawmiddin in the previous week. So today we started with the ayah Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. And Sheikh explained in detail about this ayah. There are 2 things here. Okay? According to the Hadith al-Qudsi that I had mentioned previously,